Good afternoon. I'm Del Walters in Atlanta. This is Newsy Reports. The news breaking just before airtime, the former president, Donald Trump, will not object to the court unsealing the warrant and the documents related to the search of his home in Mar-a-Lago, Florida. Coming less than an hour after the Wall Street Journal releasing an exclusive detailing what we might learn. The Journal reporting that federal agents found 11 sets of classified documents inside the former president's home, 4 of those being top secret documents. Now the New York Times is reporting that some of those documents were seized as part of an investigation into a violation of the Espionage Act and 2 other laws. Newsy's Willie James Inman is in Washington with the latest, and Willie has majored in speed reading because I know you just got your copy.
Yeah, that's right, Del. We can, in fact, confirm that these documents, this search warrant that was executed, is because of a violation of the Espionage Act, as you just mentioned from that reporting there from the New York Times. That's what this search warrant that was unsealed because of the unprecedented nature of the search of a former president's home and the public interest and scrutiny surrounding DOJ efforts in this case. Now, we can also confirm via this warrant that we're getting just moments ago from federal authorities, from this federal judge being able to unseal this document. It essentially outlines a trove of documents, some classified in nature, some highly classified even, that were retrieved from the former president's home. Now, remember, just want to back up for our viewers a little bit here, that the National Archives is in charge of taking presidential documents, presidential records, and they had made a request to the former president because they were in search of some documents some months ago, earlier this year, and then when they were able to find out a little bit more about that, get their hands on some of those documents, they then asked the DOJ to further investigate. So that's part of the timeline here. Trump's lawyers have been in communication with the Department of Justice in this case. They went down to Mar-a-Lago, they searched, they looked at where some of these documents were being stored, and they asked the former president's team to further secure some of those documents with an additional lock. So that's part of the backstory here. But the spin is that we got this information, this revelation that the president's home was searched from the former president himself when he sent out that bombshell statement on Monday. The Department of Justice, the FBI, typically does not talk publicly about these investigations, but Attorney General Merrick Garland yesterday mentioned because of the public interest, because of all of the speculation surrounding this case, that he took the unprecedented step of asking a federal judge to unseal this warrant, and that is indeed what has happened today.
Yeah, and they were looking to figure out what the underlying crimes might have been behind the search itself. That Espionage Act is the phrase that stands out the most. Have we heard from the former president? How is he responding?
Yeah, well, former President Trump has been sending a series of statements, sending them out to members of the press, also putting them out on Truth Social, his social media platform. I want to bring up one of those statements that the former president sent for our viewers. It says, quote, number 1, it was all declassified. Number 2, they didn't need to seize anything. They could have had it any time they wanted without playing politics and breaking into Mar-a-Lago. Now, I want to clarify a couple of things here. The FBI didn't break into Mar-a-Lago. They had a search warrant. That search warrant was executed. It looks like everything went by the line here, judging from the search warrant itself. They had even a timeline of when they could actually do this, so it's important to point that out. And the former president has criticized this move. He even compared it to and alleged that former President Obama took millions of documents to Chicago. That led the National Archives to respond and say that was indeed not the case, that didn't happen, that those documents from former President Obama had already been taken into possession and have been stored as they are by the letter of the law. So the former president looking to deflect a little bit here with his statements. He did set the spin cycle about and releasing the information, the news that his home was being searched by the FBI. But nonetheless, after more and more information comes out, you see here that he's trying to deflect here a little bit. while also being a bit mistruthful in his statements as well, Bill.
Yeah, and some of those documents were supposed to have only been read inside what is called a SCIF, or a secure reading room. I know you're familiar with that. I think our audience has now learned that language as well. Willie James Inman for us in Washington. Willie, thank you very much. Now back to your reading assignment. Also, in full transparency for our viewers, our parent company, EW Scripps, has joined other news organizations in filing a motion for the court to unseal all of the documents related to the Mar-a-Lago search warrant. That includes the underlying affidavits. Now, Scripps, along with CNN, NBC, and the Washington Post, believes the public's interest outweighs any arguments in favor of keeping those records sealed.